Get to the buildings!
Hello, 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 everyone. We are dying a bit today, so do excuse the little gif in the corner. I just realized, yeah, that James is just like, every 20 seconds, like, get to the buildings! Get to the building! It's like, James, come on, man. Hopefully, other than that, everything's all good. I hope everyone in chat is doing well. We'll get to the building, I suppose. Yeah, Crispy Lucas is too crispy to not be like swimming in after sun right now. So to, you know, just keep things nice and simple. Basically, I've got to like just be constantly applying and having like a lot of after cream just all over my fucking face. So not really something for Cam, I'm afraid. But no, I mean I don't want to hear other people are suffering as well. I want to hear that other people are doing well. I'm not gonna relish in anyone suffering alongside me. But yeah, I did the classic thing of like forgot to bring sun cream out with me while it was bad weather in the morning. And then by like midday coming along, I didn't have sun cream with me to apply when it got sunny. And me being the ginger one that I am, 2 hours out in the sun means I'm completely fucked. And like, in genuinely quite a bit of pain from a couple of hours of harsh sunlight. That's like fun suffering, right, though, Elden Ring. That's the good kind of suffering. And Carl will be joining us in a minute. I believe he has just been doing a bit of playing Mercenaries and RE4 on stream beforehand, so I said that he'll join as we start. Yeah, it's one of those of like, I'm more pissed off because I just forgot than anything. But I should always know there's always the potential for the sun to change on me, like out for the day. And we were just like in the middle of a field, so there was no shade, there was no way of getting away from the sun. But yeah, it's one of those of just like, I don't want to not be putting sun cream on my face or arms the entire time I'm on stream, because, you know, I should be now trying to at least be sensible after the fact, now that my skin's wrecked, and like, yeah, I don't want to be sitting here on camera just like lathered the fuck up. I mean, that sounds like some Elden Ring. It's just like, I was chilling, a dragon grabbed me, killed me. I was just like, you know, yeah. At the very least, like, so I can keep the rest of my setup with, like, the Paragon or Renegade points set up and stuff like that. And having chat on screen, I figured, like, yeah, we'll just put SpongeBob there, just blessing the sun while we chill out and play some Mass Effect. Which is a reminder to everyone, of course, that you can use your viewer rewards that I should have remembered. I think I remembered to activate for this stream. To, you know, change us to Paragon or Renegade Shep at any point.
I'm getting a lot of Cerberus radio chatter. They're prepping for evac.
I don't like the sound of that.
Oh! Oh, okay. I thought, like, my singularity just shot them up to the ship. What's going on? Imagine that, like, running away from Shepard, and you think you're safe, you've, like, got to the escape shuttle, and then just a black hole arrives in your asshole. Like, what do you do? too right. They fucking are. The smartest people in all of Mass Effect. The only people who are seemingly willing to run from Shepard.
Let's get to high ground.
Agreed. Let's go.
Oh god. It's so raw. Oh, you know that got them inside. Oh, that's heavy. You can, like, see where they both died. Oh, man.
Damn. That thing's gonna do some damage. How the hell they hide that?
It must have been far enough underground to stay hidden. Cerberus had to dig it out.
An effective way to deal with an enemy. The Turians who created this have my respect. But we're running out.
Fucking hell, Javik.
Commander, we're entering the bomb site. Moving towards the control station.
Roger that. We're on our way.
Actually, like, I like Javik, but he's actually such a dick. He's like, you know what? I really respect the Taurians for, like, creating a stealth bomb that's big enough to, like, wipe out the fucking planet, but also hidden well enough that they can keep it for fucking hundreds of years without anyone noticing. I sure hope that I don't get timed out on this, because I can't figure out where the yeah, I can see that there's a bomb. I know the bomb is there. Ah, fucking hell. A ladder. Good old ladder.
We're closing on the Hornet's nest. They'll be swarming out any minute now.
Agreed, but they've underestimated us. Cerberus will return to correct that mistake.
Why? Why would you try and come back? There's a bomb about to go off that's gonna, like, wipe out everything. Like, even if you think, oh, we should probably stop Shepard, why would you be working on coming back to the planet that you just tried to blow up? Because either you're gonna die from Shepard, or you're gonna die from successfully stopping Shepard, stopping the bomb.
I'm at the control panel, Commander.
Cerberus set up a firewall around the trigger mechanism to slow us down. I need to create a bypass. That'll take time. But like you said, no trigger, no explosion.
We'll make sure you have the time.
I like
you need
that
to
we're
test.
just sitting here in Paragon mode right now.
Starting bypass.
It's like, I'm happy to always go through the way, like, you know,
Just make it right.
chat has decided. Don't get me wrong. But it does mean that we're just making, like, life harder for the Renegade run.
Commander!
Focus on the bomb. We'll handle Cerberus.
I think that's pretty damn impressive that you immediately know what.
Nobody gets past.
I mean, like, I've played this game a few times, but I wouldn't know within, like, a few seconds just, like, what mission exactly it is. I mean, you know, I'm one of the people who play this game, what? Well, I play the trilogy, I should say. Maybe, like, once every few years. So I know it relatively well, but I've only played through 3 a few times. What the fuck was that? What the fuck is this? Did I not remember that I've changed to, like, some weird one-shot pistol? Have I made a shotgun pistol? I've made a shotgun pistol.
Line them up and knock them down.
Oh, Carl's here.
Watch for more shuttles.
Excellent. Thank you for raiding. And welcome all the raiders who can't see me as I'm waving to where my camera is. Like, I'm really not used to streaming not on cam, but it has to happen today, I'm afraid.
He's taking fire.
Protect him.
But yeah, Carl, obviously, like, let me know when and if you want to join. On call, not like in viewing. But... Oh, Carl's calling now. So you are.
Take that thing down.
Join call.
Now.
Oh god, things are happening. The controller's
Oh dear, what's
vibrating. Oh! I can feel myself. Oh, there's a mech on top of me.
So Lucas, I was just playing some RE4 mercenaries,
You're
and
very
I got
loud.
to
Hang on.
130 like combo stack.
Carl, stop. You're very loud.
Oh, sorry, I'll turn down a tad. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better, thank you.
There we go. Playing RE4, got up to like the 140 stack or close to that.
Mm-hmm.
3 chainsaw enemies turn up.
The classic.
Do the melee attack with Ada, Joe, she like flies in on the grappling hook and knock one of them over as the other one's doing the charge attack. So the instant I come out of the animation, it just insta kills me.
Oh, God, fucking hell.
Isn't it great how and it happened like 4 or 5 times on stream where doing the melee, the thing the game encourages you to do, gets you killed or stun locked or puts you in a disadvantageous position.
Yeah.
Protect him.
Like, the amount of like baffling decisions in like the gameplay loop of that game of we're gonna put melee in, but it's not gonna give you iframes. Like there's times where I'm doing like Ada's melee and there's 2 enemies stood next to each other and the other one just stands still and doesn't get hit and then just swings and hits me.
I'd also join in like as we critical fail the mission.
That's what happened to me, but it was a chainsaw guy.
Yeah. I literally acted on earlier saying like, oh, it's a timed mission at some point, and the timer must have activated around the time that you've raided over, and I've not noticed. But yeah, it's wild how many times in RE4 that like everything is going fantastically well until there's like 135 enemy like waves in, enemies killed or whatever.
I think as well the real problem is that the game cheats, and it cheats in the sense that enemy spawns change, and if you turn around, like I was showing it off, like one of the tactics you can do to keep your combo going is you turn around and then turn back around and enemies spawn in, because enemies are programmed to always be behind you, so you can't back into a corner.
That makes sense of like why every now and then it feels like there's an enemy that just grabs you from behind that like wasn't there a second ago.
Yeah, so you can take advantage of that fact by I was showing it off of, look, hey, I'm running and there's no enemies there. I'm going to turn around, like turn my camera and turn back around. Now there's 4 enemies there.
I see what you mean, Exio. Of like it's timed in the sense of like you can't do multiple. What happened to us then? Oh, Lieutenant Victor. So there is kind of like not necessarily a timer, but you have to keep on top of your shit. So thank you for reminding us to do that.
What a fantastic game! That fucking sucks.
I mean, it is such a fantastic game, right?
But Mercenaries is so frustrating because it shows like that was like showing off of like, oh, here's how you get a high score with Ada, and all it is you throw away every weapon except the sniper rifle, shoots every enemy in the legs, and stab them in the back of the head.
I think that's the bigger problem, right, with like the mercenary scoring system.
The scoring system's terrible, yeah.
Is like the scoring system incentivizes you to play in like very boring specific ways. Like the way I've gotten every high score is just going full counter mode with Wesker.
Yep.
No aggression, just walking into people and waiting for them to do a move until you counter.
Yeah, and the problem is that that's really the only way to, you can't ensure enemies are going to attack you. So the amount of like times you'll see people go for like high score runs, and they'll just stand in the middle of like 14 enemies waiting for a counter.
Yep,
and
the amount of times
win.
I've just lost a combo because I've just stood in a crowd of enemies and everyone's refused to like do anything. And occasionally, like you can then continue the counter by being aggressive, but then it means that you're not going to get as good a score. So
playing efficiently. Yeah.
The point that I'm at now is I won't beat my previous high scores unless I basically do every single kill as a counter kill.
Yep, and I was just showing off like the various characters. It's like technically, I think Leon is still the best character. But you have to do the shoot everything in the legs,
You have
stabbed
to
in the back of
play
the head.
so well as Leon to make Leon the best character.
You have to get like a perfect headshot every single time. The problem is there's no aim assist, which is really frustrating.
It's like there is potential that's higher on Leon, but it's a lot easier to get high score.
Yeah.
Play it that way.
It's so frustrating, right? I'm just, man. This could be such a good game. Why do you disincentivize using melee attacks? It's the coolest thing you've put in this series.
Apart from Wesker, where like everything's the parry melee, and therefore you just stood around waiting for people to do things.
Or Krauser, where it's like, oh, we're going to give him a knife that never breaks. It's like, oh, you mean that you built the entire game around knife combat, and then you only give one character an unbreakable knife?
I did absolutely eat that man with the biotic punch. I was surprised how far you.
I do like when you like sometimes glitch like that in like games where you like melee someone that'll fly like 1,000 miles an hour or something.
I guess because like with it being like the heavy biotic punch, it has like physics systems in the punch.
Most likely.
But yeah, I was not expecting him to go as fast. But yeah, if you enjoy DMC4 Shadow, like really look forward to 5 apart from V.
V, like the fact that people defend V is like, no, V's really fun. It's like you like getting an S rank for pressing one button, right?
That's the thing. I remember even when you were like showcasing off like the fact that you know, like V's more complex than you think they are. Like look at the combos you can do and stuff, and I was like, that still doesn't look anywhere near as fun as just playing the fuck out of Dante on Nero though. But yeah, like that's the thing. V isn't bad to play as compared to like most games. V's just really boring to play in comparison to like how cool Nero is.
All they needed to do is give him give him a basic melee attack. Just let him swing his cane like a sword. He doesn't have to do any damage, but let him do that to maintain his style meter. Because then his dodge is tied to his attack. So unlike every other character where you want to be dodging and moving around as much as possible, moving around with V actively limits your ability to attack. So the best way to play him is to stand still in the corner away from combat.
Yeah.
Because jumping into combat, your double jump stops you from using Griffin, your dodge stops you from using Shadow, your ultimate attack stops you from doing Nightmare.
The Turians took a lot of casualties, Joker.
Yeah,
Primarch's son
V kind of, it does kind of make sense why V looks like a pop punk singer in the end. Like, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but like, I think it's actually a little bit justified, like how edgy they are in the end.
Yeah.
Like, I think, and that, you know, showcases well within like the look that they gave the character.
I just wish he was fun to play. There's not a single Devil May Cry game that's fun to play all the way through.
That's the problem, right? Is there's always like the caveat with every game.
It's like playing through Devil May Cry 3. It's like, I do not want to fucking fight Cerberus again.
And then like 4 is like, I love playing as Dante, but you don't have the Devil Bringer, which makes him feel like less cool. And then
especially when it's very obvious that there's some enemies that were designed to only be fought by Nero,
including some of the bosses.
Yeah, some of the bosses do not work as Dante.
And it's like, it would make so much more sense gameplay wise to like play the first half of the game as Dante and then be like, oh holy shit, Nero's so much fun with this Devil Bringer.
Or just give them different enemies to fight.
Yeah, no, the ultimate solution would be to, you know, not just make you replay the game backwards as Dante, like design the game levels around Dante. And not just, like, make half a game, flip it, and send Dante back through it. It's like, I'm sorry, yeah, like, I actually agree with this. Like, it's sad. But, like, at this point, as we've said before, like, we need to sacrifice people. Like, sacrifices need to be made and need to not be, like, worried about right now, because the entire galaxy is at risk from the Reapers.
So would you rather have his name carved into a wall with the word fucking hero written next to it? Or would you rather have the entire universe be ashes?
Yeah, exactly.
Lieutenant Victor's fought for a cause he believed in. A soldier can't ask for more than that. He died well.
Nobody dies well. I'm tired of saying otherwise.
You had to send your stream to me as well, pal, because I'm sat on my PC because I was streaming, so I can actually watch it.
Right, yeah. Yeah, like, you missed a line from Javik just before you joined, where they discover how big the bomb is, and they're like, oh man,
Joker said the Krogan are recovering the bomb?
they're like, that, like, bomb, you know, is massive, and I'm surprised they were, like, able to hide it. And Javik's just like, man, I'm impressed. These guys are great.
I imagine.
Just like,
Pro
fucking
move,
hell, Javik. It's like this
Fucking pro
planet-ending bomb, and Javik's like, oh, I respect this. What a move.
Good to hear, Admiral.
The genophage is dealt with, but we still have a lot of work to do.
Yes, sir.
That's every time, like, I feel as though
Hack it out.
I want to look up a list of, like, what missions to take James on to, like, actually get some personality out of him. So I
Yeah, it's a
looked
lot of
up,
people,
like, some of his
in
best
the-
moments on YouTube for looking up a clip for him, and I was like, it seems like he has good moments.
It's like the video where we made it, where it's like, no, James is actually pretty good. And it's like, is that just because there's 4 fucking, like, party members?
That's the other problem, right? It's like, it's easy to be one of the best parts of the crew when you've got no crew left.
Yeah, like, by default, he's in the top 5.
It's like, it's one thing with Jacob where, oh, it's so easy to avoid Jacob, right? Like, it's ultimately, like, it's harder to, like, use Jacob past the first hour of the game in Mass Effect 2, whereas James, you pretty much, like, you get him straight away, and then if you don't go and ultimately, like, immediately recruit the rest of the crew, you're basically stuck with playing with him for quite a while.
Well, Reapers don't have
I do also like as well, we absolutely 100% called it, Lucas, of in our video, our 50-minute long video we break down, people just like look at they see any discussion of this and shut it down by saying, we get one of 3 endings. People
They
have, like,
they
commented on that
lied
video,
about it.
commenting on that video, just looking at the title, getting annoyed. It's like, perfect. We couldn't have wrote, like, we did
Yeah.
write it, and we knew.
We knew. And, like, I was looking it up, and there were a couple of, like, bullshit things that Casey Hudson, the director, said about the ending of, like, implying that, like, oh, well, it's, like, not just an A, B, and C ending. And I was like, okay, you did say that. And yeah, that's pretty fucked up. But, like, I think the way that he was trying to talk about that is, like, in his head, he's using the word ending of, like, the culmination of the end of the game, not, like, that one decision.
Yeah, I think if you look at the entire game as the ending, they delivered on what they promised. It's just the problem of people look at the last 5 minutes. It's like, okay, but that's like looking at your dinner and, like, looking at the last bite of food and be like, well, it wasn't very much here, was there? It's like you've just eaten, like, an entire meal.
To clarify, I think he is in the wrong for making those statements. I think he knew what he meant in his head, but to people that are, like, fans who don't know what he's, like, his thought process is, that makes him sound like he's talking about the literal ending.
Yeah. Even though if you use any degree of, like, you know, media literacy, you can realize they're referring to the final part of the trilogy as the ending. Because if you look at the story as a whole, Mass Effect 3 is the last third of the story.
And, like, I think he's talking about, like, well, you know, ultimately the ending being, like, the last portion of the game, however big a portion he thinks, not just, like, the last decision of one conversation. It's like, yeah, then I can get his point of, like, well, it isn't just 3 different endings, but it's really bad to have made that statement knowing that there are literally 3 different buttons to press as the last decision of the game.
It could have been clarified better, but I still
could have
think
been, yeah.
all the discourse around it is hilarious because it is just people repeating what they heard in a YouTube video. There's not a single person who in that comment section who's, like, obviously not watched the video who's made an original point. They've all said the same thing. Because that means you can see it all, can't we? It's like it's the
like,
same
we
comment.
were lied to. It's like, no, the head designer made a stupid, vague statement in one interview that people have construed as, like, all of the marketing lied to us about this entire thing.
It's the exact thing we talk about. It's the too much water thing of every single comment that's, like, disagreeing is saying the exact same thing.
You're almost as good a pilot as you think you are.
Well, yeah.
Almost like we called it.
And like
We
that,
knew.
I totally get why people would read that one interview, get to the last moment, and be pissed off. And like, I think yes, like, fair enough, you can be justified in being pissed off. That was a stupid things to say, but like, to say that all of EA and BioWare lied completely about the game and stuff, it's like, it wasn't a No Man's Sky thing.
And also, here's the thing: everyone who's saying that is not saying that because that's what they think. It's because that's the summation they've seen someone else make.
Probably, yeah, exactly.
Because if it was their own thoughts, they wouldn't word it the exact way that angry YouTubers worded it. Like Angry Joe worded it 10 years ago.
And also, I just want to say, like, don't know if we technically have an Omniblade. I don't know what that mod can do. They're a fucking harpoon gun.
Just fuck you.
Like, no bastard with a kiss shot will take you alive. Powerful sniper rifle fires a harpoon-like spike that causes massive internal bleeding, and its miniaturized destructors will also destroy synthetics. The rifle's biggest drawback is that it must be reloaded after every shot. But for anyone with steady aim and good timing, one shot is enough.
And it's just going to work like a sniper rifle, right? Is that
Yeah,
one more
it's
frustrating
just going to
thing to
be
play
a
game?
sniper and not like a unique weapon type or anything. It's just going to be a bolt action sniper.
So how much do you hate that in like games set in the future where they talk about how something's like, man, this is like a super cool, and then it works. It's like a sniper. It just works like a shotgun.
And yeah, I think like I agree, Dr. Boat. I don't like the Mass Effect 3 ending, but for the people that acted as if it like ruined the entire experience and like ruins the game and like they all lied to us and it wasn't a good game because of it and all this, it's like, piss off, the game was still really good.
Yeah,
And I have bigger problems with other elements of things, like we talked about in the video, of like the day one DLC shit, the DLC like making pivotal plot sense with like a lot of the stuff, like the fucking size of the squad in general.
That's it. It's the too much water of that game.
Yeah.
It is just, it shuts down any discussion because the person has already made up their mind, and and the reason they made up their mind is because somebody else told them to be mad about it.
Oh well, we can't automatically dispense food. But everyone in chat's got to remember to feed the fish.
Oh yeah. And that's like I said, the too much water thing of it's an opinion that's based on I heard somebody else. It's like the telephone game.
Yeah, totally.
Or Chinese whispers of like just the actual criticism has been completely lost.
And that's the thing is, like, even when we start elaborating further in the video and talking about how people act that way all the time, we still get people in the comments saying that exact same thing.
Yep.
Forget that you can just go to, like, Alliance requisitions and buy the Spectre gear and shit.
Oh yeah, you are a Spectre. And that's the thing. It's the point. Is it's like we say it and we clarify it, but the people who are going to say that aren't going to listen to the whole discussion because exactly our point of they know this is the one thing.
Treatment of autistic characters. Like, are there autistic characters in Mass Effect, or do you mean like someone with autistic traits that's being like, you know, portrayed like an autistic character? Because I can't remember there being any explicitly called out autistic characters with the game.
There's very few. I
There
think
are
like
two.
people,
Okay, cool.
people read like Mordin as well.
That's what I mean. Is because like, that's what I was wondering. Is like, is it that people read Mordin as like autistic coded or something like that, or a different character, or was there actually autistic characters?
I imagine it's not a thing they did intentionally in regards to that, but there is like a lot of coding in this game. Like the Asari are not the Asari, sorry, the Quarians.
Mm-hmm.
The Quarians are coded to be like Middle Eastern.
But like, it annoys me if people were reading more Mordin specifically as like, oh well, you know, they're smart and talk fast and hyperfixate on things and stuff. Is like, oh, they're definitely autistic. It's like, oh, they're just an alien race that acts different.
Yeah.
But yeah, David from Overlord, yeah, where it's like, because he's the one where he basically like takes over his brother and starts making him like a synthetic AI or something, right? And you have to decide like, should we let this guy just keep his brother as an AI? I think that's what I remember right from Break. I think if I'm thinking of the right DLC, that's it.
Yeah, keep it like the game was made like 10 years ago, though. Like, just it's bad anyway. It's like 10 years ago. It's like that wasn't long ago.
But
Also, these
admittedly,
things aren't
like,
new.
it's not good and it's not forgivable because, you know, there still was a lot of like awareness around autism back then, but there's a lot more now, even like 10 years on. Or a
Also, they have
dozen
like,
years on.
like sensitivity readers and stuff, isn't it? So one of my the most hilarious thing about that, of all like the weird discourse around like sensitivity readers and just having
Good work, Lieutenant. What have
just
you got?
people come in and be like, hey, does this read all right? One of the examples used is Alan Wake. Do you know they had sensitivity readers for Alan Wake? Because it was made by a European company and they wanted to make sure the American stuff read properly.
Right, yeah, is this where all like the well, like the horrible like Gamergate people came out about Alan Wake 2 and all this and like
Yeah, because they hired sensitivity readers and like, oh, they're making sure it's not. So it's for you weird Americans, because if like the character said like an American like word wrong or like just acted in a way that's like distinctly European,
Setting up procurement chains?
so we want it to accurately reflect your culture, not ours.
and
The
then it's
exact thing they always bitch and moan about of wanting just accuracy in their games.
and then obviously the wrong kind of people heard about that and then started being like all weird and saying that they were forcing diversity into the game and all this weird like conspiracy theory bullshit about that company.
Yeah, and it's no, they just hired them. It's like, hey, we're a European company making a game that's ostensibly set in America. Do our American characters act American?
Do you maintain this armory?
I share that duty with our illustrious Mr. Vega.
All that made
Though
things
I believe
worse.
The only weapon he really cares to maintain is himself.
You know you love the show, Esteban.
The first retrofit we did was to move the armory down from Deck 2. I'm not sure what Cerberus engineers were thinking.
Yeah,
Now you get
exactly.
off the
Like,
elevator,
but
take
people
the computer,
took
and head right into the shuttle.
like the idea of sensitivity readers and then decided that like, oh well, these people are being brought in to force the game to go woke, and it's like, no, you're all just being assholes.
Also, it's the things they complain, like that kind of person will complain about.
Also, yeah, always getting our flags out. Oh, I've got the wrong. Get a little gates on my go. And obviously, you know, the implied there's only 5 flags here, but the implication is I just can't fit them all on screen and stuff, but
So they need to make a bigger flag, invent more colours.
I was mad at myself because I was just like, oh, I should have got like more emo pride, and I forgot.
We forgot because we've always celebrating Pride, right?
I mean, yeah, right. Like, I don't take away the like show your pride, your reward at the end of June. Like, oh yeah, we're taking away the rainbows for the other 11 months. Reminding me to wait. Get my froggos on. Let's.
Keep up the good work.
Yes,
Sorry,
ma'am.
Cortez. Let's go over to good old James himself and have a bit of a chat, and then hydrate while James chats away.
So I have a bit of a fucking chinwag.
Shepard,
The
I was just
lovely
doing
Freddie
follow-up.
Prinze.
slumming down here with the grunts?
That's the things that a lot of people. Oh, it's Freddie Prinze Jr. But he doesn't act like Freddie Prinze Jr. Like if he just looked exactly like Freddie Prinze Jr., he'd be all right.
To know.
I mean, it's not even the looks to me. It's like
I'm here
they
now.
seemingly just don't get anywhere near as much character out of his performance as I'm used to. I don't think you need a fucking reason to come and say
It's
hello.
my ship. I go where I want.
My fucking
do
ship?
whatever I want.
Fair enough.
This is like the first time you've talked to him. It's like, the fuck are you talking to me for? And Garrus is over
I
there.
already know my service record.
Yeah, we've been slacking off a little bit in terms of going to speak to the crew
I
between
don't,
missions.
actually. I didn't have access to personnel records when we met.
Right. Forgot about that.
Yeah, I was busy just being like on lockdown.
Well. Think you can dance and talk at the same time?
Oh, I can dance.
We'll see.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to shut him down because this is the first chance we're getting to like actually see a bit of James.
Guys, so far, not give me the best impression.
Mm-hmm.
You sound like my old CO.
Oh, yeah? And who was that?
And I'd love to see like a more modern version where like all of these little fun extra scenes don't like look as awkward. Because BioWare games are like really awkward in this kind of sense.
Lucas, there'd be shitty mini games. Like, be happy with what you got. And you know there'd be shitty mini games.
It was either them or the intel we had on the collectors.
And they would be terrible mini games that just are not fun. And there'd be a mod to skip like 5 seconds after the game came out.
I just would really like to
Tough choice.
see it as like
But it was the right call.
just a cooler looking cutscene where the characters don't look quite as stilted.
You think so?
Or a worse looking cutscene.
Hmm.
I would have done the same.
That's what's funny.
Because that's the thing, obviously it was a different developer, but like, even though the character models looked a lot nicer in Mass Effect Andromeda, the team was just clearly like rushed to fuck and maybe not as experienced, and like,
You can't blame
even though the characters looked better, a lot of the scenes looked worse.
Yeah, the characters
Fuck you,
looked great
James.
when they weren't like falling apart.
I do.
Yeah.
You a shrink too?
I saw you put that like picture in of just like,
Stunt back on
oh yeah,
reckless.
here's the game. It's just
Lucky to be alive.
fuck, just
The
everything falling
character
apart.
just like crushing in on themselves.
Maybe you don't care if you live or die.
Or maybe.
And again, as I say, like,
willing to do whatever the fuck it takes
I
to
think
end
a
this
lot of the
goddamn war.
problems with that game are like massively rushed development and a change of game engine that they weren't used to or something.
Sacrifice yourself
It's like, I'm not
for
sitting
our
there going,
ship.
what shitty developers?
That's
At
unacceptable.
least though, it means like Mass Effect 3 is not the one that people say is the worst.
Talk.
Yeah, true, like,
There are weirdos out there who do say though, oh, Mass Effect Andromeda is the best one. It's
Maybe
like, no,
next
it's not.
time more hidden,
mm-hmm.
less talking.
Like, why would you just do that? Like, come in like my room and tell lies.
Commander.
I mean, you know, like, not a bad little scene there, but it doesn't, again, it doesn't really give me much, like, character of James. It's just more like, it feels more like normal military man situation. Like, nothing was endearing me to him in that moment.
Also, when he said like, let's dance, I thought you were gonna dance.
I mean, that would be more interesting, right? If it's like, oh, guy
he's
that's
a-
sitting there doing all the pull-ups all the time. It's like, oh no, he actually loves dancing.
Yeah, if he was like a ballroom dancer or something like that.
But it's like, no, what he means by dance is just literally like having a
But that'd be something that'd be interesting,
little
right? If they,
brawl.
like, you know, if they gave him like, you look at him and he's like, oh, is this huge buff military dude? But they made him like super sensitive or something like that.
yeah, like
Oh, it-
it would be great if it was that of like breaking the stereotype of the typical big buff soldier man.
Yeah, like give, because I know you can romance him as a male shepherd, right? You can be gay.
I'm not aware of Mass Effect
Let me
3's
double-check.
romance options very much, to be honest.
So I think like he's like the one who could like he just swings both ways depending on who you want to play. Like if everyone's dead.
Fair.
Is he
I
romantic?
mean, I think like that should just be every character in these kind of games, is like make every character potentially bi.
No, he doesn't look like he's romanceable.
You can romance Cortez as a man, who's
Okay.
the shuttle captain, the shuttle driver that we just talked to.
Oh yeah, because yeah, when Mass Effect 3 came out, there wasn't enough gay characters in the game.
Right.
Because I think like you've got an option of like sleeping with 3 people across the entire series. But if you played as a gay man, there literally wasn't enough male characters to romance. So they added in Cortez as a romanceable option because they realized you could not get that achievement if you exclusively played as a gay male shepherd.
Which is why it makes sense now that like Cortez is just this added character where it always used to just be like, oh, don't worry, like we either don't see the shuttle drivers or it's Joker, and like yeah, now it's just, oh hey, like you've got Cortez. It's like, oh, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
they added him in like last second because they realized that there wasn't any option if you played as. Because I think it was the achievement of like Paramore if you romanced 3 different characters across all 3 games.
But if you were playing it as specifically a gay man, that meant by the time you rolled around to 3, if you Cortez didn't get added as a random character, then they wouldn't have had an option for you.
Yep, which was just not a good look of like, oh, there's not enough. But you
Yeah,
had like,
it's not that Cortez is a bad choice. It's more just that like, oh, this is why there's just a random guy that's a shuttle driver, not a crewmate that you can romance.
that's also as well just great proof and reasoning why, like I mentioned earlier, like sensitivity readers. I bet no one on the main staff was a gay man. So it just
I mean,
never
there
occurred
must
to them
have
that they're not
been
in.
like, there must have been some gay men working on the game.
Not any who were apparently able to make decisions.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
otherwise they'd have pointed that out immediately.
And at least like Cortez got added to the game. It's just the only other person I think was like romanceable that wasn't a crewmate was Ellie, I think it is.
Yeah, I think you can do it.
Because like you can definitely romance her, but that makes a bit more sense as like your literal like aide. Like that kind of makes a bit more sense because she's right there and talking to you all the time and like, you know, liaising with you about who you should go talk to and stuff. Whereas Cortez is just kind of like the guy in the basement. I like the idea of just
Like, draw a skull on it. The Gears of War pistol, let's go. Like, why is there not like a Gears of War weapon in this game?
because it wasn't Xbox.
Oh, right, it was not exclusive, right?
Yeah, it was only but yeah, it was the first Mass Effect was a 360 exclusive for a while on like console. And then Mass Effect 2 and 3 are just like EA games that got brought to PS3 as well.
Lol. You're in the PS3 game.
It's a weird one of like it meant that like the only way to do it in Mass Effect 2 to like bring a save file into Mass Effect 2 was have that like little booklet thing where like they had like the little mini visual novel that you made choices in.
Yeah, I did like that though. You know,
It was a cool way of doing it, but the fact that like Mass Effect 2 players on PlayStation were just forced to not play the first game.
It's like there was a lot of effort put into carrying your story forward, which is why it's just so hilarious. Like, no, you only get 3 endings. Like, you could literally have shit from the first game come back up in the midway through the story.
And obviously, yeah, you might get to make some pivotal decisions, like did you save the Rachni Queen? But you don't really know who the Rachni Queen is. You don't know any of the like characters that might be returning.
You didn't have like the option to, like, you know, weigh up the options for yourself and learn more about the lore of the universe.
How about this? Like, go into Liara's office and she's basically like mobile shadow broker.
Hell yeah. I did like though when I looked up like some of the marketing. Like when Mass Effect 3 had players submit a petition to the UK government to tell us where the aliens are.
Dr. Tassoni now refers to me as Glyph instead of Info Drone 95% of the time. If you have a moment, I'd like to draw your attention to a terminal in her office.
Baseball bat that thing out the window is going to betray you. Look at it. It's the most obvious I will betray. It's Guilty Spark.
I mean, that's true, but like we literally have an AI as a crewmate.
And what should I be looking
I don't trust AI shit like a ball.
If you
That's definitely the guilty spark in you then.
Why does guilty spark betray you again? I always forget. It always comes out of fucking nowhere.
It does, yeah. I can't. If anyone in chat remembers,
Why does
it's like
guilty
Halo
spark suddenly
3
kill
guilty
you?
sparks, just like your bro, and then all of a sudden you're like, because I remember my mate I was playing co-op with Halo 3. Like we were playing, I think we were playing online, and like they were the one in charge of the party and just like skipped the cutscene, and all of a sudden guilty spark was melting our face off.
I think it's something to do with the fact that he wants to activate the
He
Halo
wanted
ring
to
and you
activate the
don't.
Halo, right? Yeah.
But the fact that never come up in any conversation you were having during the entire mission. Like, did you not talk about this off screen?
Yeah. But I think the
Halo
whole
3.
point is that like Guilty Spark was clever enough to like fake wanting to do the mission with you so that then at the last minute they could stop you.
To be fair, being called Guilty Spark should have been a first clue, right?
It should have been.
Should have been first fucking clue that he's going to betray you. It's like, is that the worst trope in like narrative-driven media of just like characters who have a disagreement because they just refuse to talk?
Oh yeah, it's so frustrating, right?
Is it the worst? Like, is there a
It's
trope that's
definitely
worse
not
than
the
just not
worst, but
talking?
it's fucking annoying.
Is it the worst? Okay, conceit for a story to happen.
Maybe, yeah.
Like in like rom-coms and stuff where there's like a misunderstanding of like, oh, I can't caught him like in there was a woman in his house. It's like it's my sister, and then she says, no, I'm not talking to you, and just leaves.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like pro tip, guys, if a girl does that, just put your losses.
Yeah.
Same thing with the gals out there. If they completely blow off that, if like they throw away like a several-year relationship because they don't want to have a 30-second conversation
to like just clear up a misunderstanding. But yeah, that's not someone you want in your life. Oh my God. So you know what though? Message from Operative Ferron to Shadowbroke. Read that one.
Diary. Like reading like Space Diary, let's go.
Contact with Tazik yesterday. The look on his face was priceless. Not happy you put me in charge of scouting the Terminus system, but he's doing a good job of keeping us alive. Never seen so many pirates and mercs on edge. Black market's unreliable, and it's getting harder to make contact with suppliers. The Alliance won't be able to rely on it as a source of crucible materials for long if things get worse. Some of the other operatives thinks we should cut our losses now, but keep asking them when did the odds ever stop the broker. P.S. I hope you finally got our little friend Droney to stop saying shadow and broker out loud in the same sentence.
That's probably a bad idea, right? For the thing that's supposed to help you is like constantly announce, like, I'm the shadow broker boss. Shut up.
Like every time like someone walks past the aura, it's like, hey, this is the shadow broker. Do you know the shadow broker? You know what person is meant to stay in the shadows?
I do like that though, of that just the idea of just the ballsiest play as like a spy or something is just to tell everyone I'm a fucking spy.
Yeah.
Be as loud and obnoxious as possible, and if anyone asks what you do, tell me you're a spy.
I'm a very silent shadow broker without data feeds. So you have access to your resources? What I can get. We'll need it to research this Prothean device. Until we understand precisely what it does, it's far too dangerous to use.
How could it be far too dangerous to use? Will it destroy the universe? Well, probably not. Okay, it's not a risk then. Well, I do wonder, like, surely it must be the easiest negotiations ever.
You mean, will it work?
Well, what about if we don't help you? You die.
Yeah.
Universe is destroyed.
The Reapers kill everyone.
But that doesn't include us, though, does it? Are you part of everyone? Well, yeah, okay, fuck you then.
Like, we just need it working, Nara. Like, at the end of the day, if you think the Crucible might be dangerous to us, ask yourself the question. Like, what happens if we don't use it? We all die. What happens if we do use it? We might all die.
I need to ask before we go any further. I know you and Thane were close. Is that in the past? Should I forget there was anything between us?
So who are we going for in this one? We want to, like, fuck all the boys, right?
I don't want to fuck all the boys.
But I mean, like, all we're gonna be like naughty and just like try and bone everybody because I don't think Liara's a very good romance option. She's not interesting.
I mean, she's more interesting, I think, like, than a lot of the romance options in 1.
Yeah, because the only other one is like Ashley or Caden, right?
And you can romance Garrus' femshap in 1, right?
No, like
Can you
he was
not
added in
know?
number 2. He was added in 2 specifically because it was the number 1 request from female players.
Right. So, I mean, chat, what do we all think? Do we think that we want to stick with Liara as, like, go back to our Mass Effect 1 love interest? Or, like, what are the other options for us?
I think Garrus, right? Because didn't we have like we had like a flirty bit in like the previous game?
We had a flirty bit with Garrus. We might be able to, like, romance Tali as well, maybe?
I don't think you can romance Tali as a femshep.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's not gay.
Again,
also, chances
I kind of
are,
get mad. Like, make with a role-playing game, just make everyone potentially gay.
Also, chances are we might blow up a planet.
She doesn't need to worry about that. We're her family now, Carl.
I'd say Garrus. If we can get Garrus, I say we go for Garrus.
What are the other options? Like, let's have a look.
Romance options in number 3.
Yeah. Are you looking that up, or am I?
I can look it up for you now, yeah, because I think just Liara's such a boring choice. She's the only like now
Can we romance Javik?
Not sure.
That'd be pretty fun. Like, to get him to be like, you know what? Before like the galaxy gets melted, I had sex with the very last Prothean alive.
Okay, so female shepherd in Mass Effect 3, potentially Garrus, Samantha, Thane, Caden, Liara, James. Javik is a romance option.
Ooh.
Diana, Kelly, Morin, Samara, and Jacob.
Oh, so a lot of these are like not
Previous
actually
ones, yeah.
crew members and stuff. They're just like in one mission and you can bang them.
Yeah, but like these are ones I can carry over from the previous game. But
right.
Garrus is an option, and I wouldn't want to bang Javik. It's Garrus, man. He's your bro, right?
Yeah, but
bang, okay?
We will bang, okay.
I just don't think Javik is like. I don't think he'd be a very good lover. He comes from like. He comes from.
We don't want a lover at this point, Carl. Garrus over Javik. Like, the thing is, I see Garrus as our bro, and I see Javik as like. Javik can fuck. No, Javik can fuck.
50,000 years for him.
Like, I don't know. I mean, either way, we can make our decision about, like, Garrus or Javik later. But if we want to say to Liara for now, like...
Oh, it says here, Javik is a joke, quote-unquote, romance. You get one small scene in the Citadel DLC.
Okay.
James Vega can be romance, but you won't see the culmination of it till the Citadel DLC.
Exion says you can only romance Garrus if you did it previously.
We had like a flirty relationship with him though, right?
Yeah, but we didn't have a romance option.
I guess like basically our only choice is we've got to lock into Liara. Unless you want to bang James. We could give him a chance.
We could bang Freddie Prinze. Have our little beefcake on the side.
Should we give him a chance? Should we do that?
Not?
Fuck it, yeah. Just tell Liara, let's just be friends. You listen for 1,000 years.
Like, you know what, Javik, we are just using you for your body. Not Javik, James. Freddie Prinze, sorry.
A lot has happened since then, Liara.
No, she lives for 1,000 years. Like I think now that the controversy around because I think when this game initially came out and the first Mass Effect, all the controversy of you can have a gay alien relationship, and everyone was getting like really like just the panties in and not over it.
Imagine if those people could see Baldur's Gate 3.
They would lose their mind.
Like, that's the thing. I don't think somehow like Baldur's Gate 3 ever got talked about in that way by like the news or anything. So I think it didn't
Mass Effect
break
was on the
into
news.
like that mainstream news, or somehow at least I missed it.
Yeah, do you know what? Thank you, Game of Thrones.
I mean, true, right?
But legit, it's Game of Thrones because Game of Thrones was like prestige television, and it was like acceptable for it made fantasy like acceptable like mainstream topic of conversation, but it also had all like the weird sex stuff in there, which just helped normalize it. There's like a really great article I've been wanting to like research and write, tracking how Game of Thrones just made like media sexier.
And there's
I need you for more than your aim.
a lot of like, I think quite, apart from the ending, I think there's a lot of kind of cleverness that Game of Thrones did around, as you say, like getting people like slowly into the fantasy elements as well.
It did indeed, yes. People say it was Lord of the Rings, but everyone forgets like Lord of the Rings didn't have people getting more into Lord of the Rings. They watched Lord of the Rings like, wow, Lord of the Rings was a good movie. They didn't say that it was a good fantasy movie. Whereas like, and no other fantasy movies really got made after Lord of the Rings. Whereas Game of Thrones came out and you had like what, 5 different like giant prestige television shows set in like either fantasy or historical settings.
Yeah, like Lord of the Rings trilogy felt like more of a
event
that was just like a one-off thing, whereas like Game of Thrones felt like it had a bit more like impact in terms of like copycats and getting
you had,
people
Vikings and that pirate show,
taking fucking pictures of themselves with like dragons and stuff. Like you didn't really see people latch on to like necessarily the fantasy elements of Lord of the Rings, and there are people, but like I would say that like the people that like the Balrog in Lord of the Rings are still the people that already liked weird fantasy nerdy stuff for the most part.
Yeah, and I will have to give props though. Like Game of Thrones couldn't have existed without Spartacus.
Yeah, true. And then
Spartacus was like the original like not high fantasy, but like big bombastic, like historical show with lots of violence and sex in it. But
it had a lot of
fell
dongs
off.
in there.
It did. There was so many people hanging dong. The problem is like the main actor died after like the 2nd season, I think, and it just never really recovered from that.
Oh shit!
Very famously, yeah, it's like one of those shows where like it could have been the Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones, but his lead actor died and just it never recovered.
By second guessing ourselves, Garrus.
I think we always have to just stick down this line of like, yeah, every decision we make at this point is the right decision. Like we can't doubt ourselves.
And if we like, just hesitation is death.
Yeah.
What's that line from like Dune where they say that? Like, hesitation is defeat or something like that.
So, you're their expert advisor now?
Just followed your example, Shepard. Yell loud enough, and someone will eventually come over to see.
Well, just no nonsense, Garrus is. He's great.
That they'll actually do anything about it.
That's right. Tories won't do anything about the government. We've got to go stow pipe bombs through 10 Downing Street. What, Garrus?
Oh, like we've got to reform. It's like, no, Garrus, no, you're going the wrong way. No.
Oh man, like, I was speaking to a friend and he was like, they really make some good points. And I went, the guy who's in charge of that party lives in America and has dual citizenship, right? So no, we can't have like immigrants coming in. I went, his wife's an immigrant. His kids have got dual citizenship. He works abroad.
And he's also a millionaire that doesn't give a shit about the working people.
Yeah, that's the one. Oh, the Rishi Sunak's really rich. Like, so is Nigel Farage. His name is Farage. He's French. So, but it makes a lot of sense. Yes, it's really easy to make sense when you offer really simple solutions to complex problems because you don't plan on getting in.
Yeah, exactly. You can when you know that you're not going to get in, you can just make a lot of really bold statements and know that you never have to like back it up.
Yeah, never forget, like the whole theory about Donald Trump didn't want to win the presidency. He just wanted to get close enough to it so he could become a kingmaker and just sit on the sides.
Right.
And he did the same thing. He made a really good pitch. Like one of the things that he promised that was really, really good idea was filling in your tax return, making it easy. You can fill it on a postcard.
And then I presume that just never fucking happened.
It never went anywhere because the moment they tried to implement it, they realised, well, how you'd have to reform the entire tax system.
And the entire same bollocks with Biden being like, yeah, no student debts anymore, everyone. And it's like, hey, Biden, where's that?
No, you got to overhaul the entire like student loan system. This is what my friend was saying. He's like, Well, we should follow a model like Australia's in regards to immigration. It's like, but that works. Are we going to follow Australia's like minimum wage or like $30 minimum wage?
That's the thing is like you have to have the infrastructure. To
But
back
no,
it up.
just do what they do in regards to immigration. But
Just change one thing and you'll be fine.
and I tried, and he just would not get it through his head. It's like, no, but we need to follow that. It's like, but the reason that works is because they have a very strong infrastructure in place and a very solid middle class with a high minimum wage and standard of living, which allows them to fund these services. So who the fuck's going to work on the board if you're not paying anyone?
It's something Turians are taught from birth.
He's like, no, just make it better. Just follow what they do. It's like, that's the kind of solution someone who doesn't have to do any thinking suggests, right?
Yeah, exactly.
In this war, that's not going to happen.
So what's this Reaper task force you've been running?
And it's like, it's so frustrating, right?
New time was running out.
It is very frustrating when, like,
Citadel Council was a dead
like,
end, so
yeah,
did
I don't
something I never thought
doubt
I'd do.
that some of the things that, like, I don't agree with them, but some of the things that they can come out with can be like, look, we're going to make the whole country better. It's like,
But he still had
okay, but
that
it's really
in the Turian
easy to
government.
say that. It's really a lot harder to, like, actually figure out how to do it.
So
That's the
until I
problem. Is
found
like, what's your
out
actual plan to
everything
do
he
this?
knew
Well, we'll
about
just do, well, we'll just
We'll
raise
fix
taxes.
it.
all the way
It's
Yeah.
about how you're going to fix it. Well, we'll fix it. Don't worry. Trust us, bro.
And that was a very sad moment for me. Of like, oh no, don't go down that rabbit hole, mate. Come on.
I wonder what
Stop
Javik
listening to
thinks.
talk radio in your car.
I wonder what Javik would think about it. I'm like, nah, man, just kill everyone.
So please, like, just stop listening to talk radio in your car.
Javik's definitely that person that's like sitting in the pub going, I think the British Empire was the correct thing to do.
He'd be in the pub watching Weatherspoon's TV, right?
Yeah, like totally just talking about like how great the British Empire was.
My father may have been a pain in the ass about
It's like, no, we should not
He never let
have tried to
politics
like
cloud
murder and take over the entire world. That sounds like a bad thing. He's mate, it worked out for the Protheans. We were great.
The absolute, just the evergreen statement of the problem with the UK is everybody over 50 thinks they thought in World War II.
I like his style.
And they never shut the fuck up about it.
wasn't as convinced. My father kept pushing and finally got him to commit some token resources. And if you call them a task force,
To be
it
fair,
sounds
though,
like you did something about it.
if like we actually had Bob the Builder in real life and they told me they'll fix it, I'd at least engage in the conversation.
Joe, I would as well, because like there was what 300 episodes of Bob the Builder, and every episode he actually delivers on what he promises.
That's like, eventually he does always fix it.
Yeah, he's got a proven track record of fixing and building stuff that he promises to fix and build.
Admittedly, not always in the way he intended to, but you know, you got to have a bit of drama in those kids' TV shows, right?
But he also as well listens to his team, has a solid base and grounding of people around him, and when there's a problem that he can't solve, he always asks someone who's an
It's like,
expert.
if it happens once or twice, then yeah, chalk it up to just him being lucky and getting a fluke. But when he pulls it off every time, you're like, it's similar to like in The Office, isn't it? In the American Office, where they're like, we don't know what Michael Scott does, but his branch is the only one that works.
Yep.
And it's chaos, and it's not repeatable, and it's complete carnage when you try and figure out what he's doing. But it's just like, obviously, because they have to keep the show running and have an excuse, it's just like, but somehow the numbers are working in his branch.
Yeah.
And it's like Bob the Builder, he always gets it fixed. Oh. Should we just like pray in silence for a moment for Legion? Just pull one out.
You don't have to. He's alive. He's
Well, no,
fine.
yeah, but just he's not a crewmate.
Yeah. Sucks, man. I wanted Wesker to be back.
It does suck that because we wanted to like not let Dr. Chakwas die, as well as 50 other people on our ship, that it means we got Legion for like all of 2 hours as a
for 1
crewmate
minute.
ever.
It's such a baffling decision. Also, I cannot get over how much Dr. Chakwas just de-ages down. She looks younger than your character model.
Oh my god, she kind of does.
Make a mess like a hurricane.
Like, she gets younger in every game.
Like, she's meant to be like the old Doctor who's kind of like
We must move
just
on.
enjoying life and doesn't give a
if I
fuck and
may,
has
I'd
lived a
like
good
to-
life.
She talks about, like, in her youth, like, she joined to, like, meet hot guys and travel the universe, and she's too old for it now. She looks younger than you because she has literally 0 flaws.
And she's gotten, as you say, she's gotten younger looking.
Yeah.
It's been, what, like, probably a culmination of, like, 5+ years between all the games, right? Because it's, like, a couple of years between you dying and the end of, at the start of 2. It takes a couple of years to, like, get Shepard back.
I'm also going to point out as well, she has a very stressful job.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it cracks me up. She gets younger in every game because they just made it so she just has, like, the ridiculously hot character model, even though it makes 0 sense because she's supposed to be old.
That is true. That is the true representation of, like, when people just get, like, a new stylist and plastic surgery and, like, look better at the end of, like, the sitcom that lasted 10 years than when they started.
Thing is, though, all that Cerberus money, in my head, she just spent it on plastic surgery. But it also really highlights as well, like, there's only one female character model because she has the same model as, like, Miranda, who's supposed like the perfect human woman.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but every female character has the exact same model.
Yeah, yeah.
Which makes that weird lingering ass shot even more pointless because every female character model has the exact same model and looks exactly the same.
Or, like, one of 2 hot models, right? Like, it might not always be the same model, but it's definitely one of, like, 2.
I think there was only one female character model in the entire
Really
game in
fucking
Mass Effect 2.
Nothing wrong with me, is there?
No, but we should keep an eye on all those cybernetic implants Cerberus grafted into you.
What about your cybernetic implants? What about your fucking face?
And worth
What's that scaffolding around
No,
your
no,
chin?
no.
I can see it.
She's like, man, we should really keep an eye on the shit that they've put in you because I need a lot of our budget to maintain myself already.
Yeah, so I can see that scaffolding around your neck. Look at that.
Ever told you I don't like doctors?
Like Dr. Michael Jackson Chakwas over here.
I'm just going to run some diagnostics on your implants, and it'll take a few readings. The procedure we did for
And she
your
looks
character
hotter than your
used
character
a
model.
lovely
Yeah.
synthetic protein overlay.
It's
she
because
looks like
we
more-
go for, like, the casual Friday look, Carl.
Yeah, she looks like more of a main character than you do.
I'm cheap.
That's it. You're the picture of health.
I'll see you around, Doctor.
Yes, I got that.
Take care, Shepard.
Thing is, I don't need to be the perfection of health if, like, our odds are we're gonna die tomorrow.
Yeah, it don't matter, does it?
Like, yeah, as long as we're healthy enough to run around and shoot guns, that's all that we need right now.
Oh, like how it just says sunburn over Cade.
I'm surprised, like, it's obviously dogs can overheat, they can't, like, get sunburn because of fair, but, like, just, I'm surprised that he has never, like, overheated or anything because he just loves to just sit in the sun all.
Yeah.
And, like, we literally have to, like, stop him living in the sunlight and make him drink water and stuff. It's like, come on, Cade.
Commander, welcome
You're
back
not
to
allowed to just
Normandy.
become a burnt sausage.
Maybe you should be saying that to me.
Engineer Adams, what are you doing here?
I was put in charge of the drive core retrofits. My experience on the Normandy SR-1 made me
Here he
the
is,
obvious
look.
choice.
Like, he's an actual character model. Like, this isn't like a guy.
She's incredible. If there's one nice thing I can say about Cerberus...
So I think, yeah, we've not, like, talked to anyone on our ship the entire game, so these are, like, the intro conversations.
I owe you an apology.
Literally.
How so?
Like, we did the intro with Javik, and then, like, that was the end of one stream, and then we've just, like, done a couple where we've just, like, gone straight into missions.
Yeah, so it's a good idea we're talking to our crew.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you join us?
I saw what happened to you when the Normandy went down. I didn't trust that it was
You
really
mean
you.
I died and then got
I
better?
certainly didn't
Sick,
trust
right?
Cerberus. Also, as an officer of the Alliance,
I don't think we did
don't
feed the
just
fit.
leave my post, you know?
Your alliance first. That's the way it should be.
It's like, yeah, I can't be mad at anyone that's,
Glad
like,
to be aboard.
didn't
I
want to
didn't
be
want to
part
betray
of the
all of
Cerberus
humanity.
ship.
Aye, ma'am.
Yeah, I didn't want to, like, betray all of humanity. It's like, okay.
Well, it's not even that, because, like, you know, yes, like, the argument could be made that, like, Cerberus are humanity first. It's like, No, Cerberus seemed like evil assholes, and I didn't want to work on their ship. It's like, I can respect that. As much as, like, we did use Cerberus's money and intel to save the galaxy from, like, a fucking big-ass human reaper, like, I still respect the move of, like, fuck Cerberus.
If the game gave me the choice to tell him to go fuck himself, I'd do it second one.
I mean, we repeatedly told the Elusive Man to go fuck himself.
Your people would have made a good addition to our empire.
Oh, is that what that was? I thought it looked like a cockroach or something.
And by addition, you mean slave race.
Oh no.
Subservient race.
Oh god, Javik. Oh god, no.
Yeah.
But you did not go far enough. Either you should have detonated the bomb.
Yeah, there he is. This is why we're not romancing him, Lucas. he's got a bit too much Reform Party, you know. I'm not a fan.
Oh dear God.
Nothing struggles, nothing grows.
And it really changes your perspective on these Protheans. You're like, oh man, what, like a Forerunner race that must have been super cool and progressive, and they led like the entire galaxy through like a peaceful movement. And Javik's like, you're all fucking just subservient to me, and we should murder everyone.
So, yes, you would have done well on the slave islands. It's like, shut up, Javik.
I believe
Yeah.
some of the crew
Oh
wishes
god,
to be
it's
my
rough.
friend. That is not my purpose here. Also, I find I need to wash my hands. The residue of the ship is strong.
How so?
I have been exploring. There are traces of those who lived on.
Oh, yeah,
the
she's got like
world
weird
before.
psychic like ability, right?
Human female. Her genetic structure was unnatural, as if
Oh yeah, that's
artificially
us, baby.
created.
Sounds like Miranda.
Oh, and Miranda too, yeah.
There was illness in him,
Thane.
and the Krogan who lived in these quarters. He was undergoing a metamorphosis. His memories were confused, not organic to his mind.
Yeah, so I just double checked as well. So I was like, oh,
I still can't
obviously,
wrap my head
like,
around that.
Javik
Reading
is
information like you
coded
do.
black. He's voiced by a Nigerian
For
voice
my
actor.
people, it was as natural as breathing.
Evolution's an amazing force.
Our
That's
scientists
interesting, given,
believe
like,
it is the only force
he's
in
a,
the galaxy
well, the
that matters.
Forerunner
They
race
called it the
of like, oh, a Nigerian actor, like, the cradle of civilization.
Hmm.
The weak perished.
Yeah, we can change up
The
the...
governments of your cycle seem concerned with ensuring the survival of all.
As I look as well, who else this guy's the voice of?
I can't recognise the voice of Javik being anything else.
Okay, I'll give you a clue. He's in Mortal Kombat.
Does he sound Nigerian in Mortal Kombat?
He does not.
Oh, I forget. Shao Kahn?
He's Shao Kahn.
Yeah.
I can't hear that in his voice at all.
I can't at all, but like,
Because
as
he's
like,
Nigerian
he's got
born
a
as well, so
strong
which means he's-
voice. Like, I was thinking of like him being like a powerful character.
Yeah, like this is like probably like close to his native accent if he's like Nigerian born.
I would presume so. It sounds a lot more close to Nigerian than Shao Kahn does.
Also, Jax Briggs.
Oh, so he's Jax and Shao Kahn.
And he's Atriox.
Fucking
From
hell.
Halo Infinite.
Right.
And he's the conductor in Curious George. I love looking at like random voice acts like, what the fuck? Oh, he's the Prowler from Miles Morales.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's Uncle Aaron.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, I
He's
didn't.
Uncle Aaron.
Did not
And he's
recognise
Martian
that.
Manhunter. Martian Manhunter.
Shit in hell. But I'm gonna go with the non-renegade option there. Like, I don't want to say like, yeah, the weak should die.
To offer would be eliminated.
So conflict should be a way of life.
That's really interesting. I love when you just do that and say, wait, he's this guy? He's Atrocitus in Injustice 2. I'm noticing a theme.
For the greater good of all.
Yeah, I'd looked up a couple of Mass Effect actors, but not Javik when I was doing the edit for the ME3 video.
Liara?
And like,
I think she just had a
Lucas,
different idea
no.
about what Protheans
What?
were like.
He's Commander Locke in Halo 5.
oh really?
He's Spartan Locke.
And then, but it was
Mike Coulter.
yeah, that was the face of him, right?
Yeah, but he didn't do the voice.
Oh man, the liar.
I'm noticing a theme though. It's either like very like powerful, like aggressive characters like Atrocitus and Shao Kahn. And then there's a lot of like monster characters, and then the other ones are just like cool black dude.
And
you know
like,
what?
it sounds like he's got quite a few different roles as like alien man.
He's got a lot of range though. The fact he's Uncle Aaron.
Yeah, like
that's a solid American
a
accent.
lot of those different characters I would not have pinned as being the same voice actor. It's not like that joke of like, you know, oh, here's the like Troy Baker sounding like Troy Baker, or like that's the
Maybe.
That's not to disparage
Maybe you'd still be a soldier.
Troy Baker, because a lot of projects just want Troy Baker to sound like Troy Baker, but I didn't notice until like near the end of the series that he was either Rick or Morty in the new Rick and Morty season.
Yeah. I think I would have not have clocked that this guy is the voice of Shao Kahn.
No.
I would have not have clocked in a million years. I would have not have guessed him as Shao Kahn or Uncle Aaron, because Uncle Aaron just sounds so American.
But the thing is, I don't know about Yuri Lowenthal. Like it's one of those things where, like, again, there's a lot of times when I notice that Jennifer Hale's Jennifer Hale, or that Troy Baker's Troy Baker, or Laura Bailey's Laura Bailey. But when you look at their actual full list of credits, you're like, oh, but I didn't notice them this time, this time, this time, and this time.
Yeah.
But when they were allowed to just sound a bit more like themselves, obviously you notice them. But like a lot of the time, there will be kind of like those two sides of a voice actor's career where, like, okay, here's all the roles where they kind of sound similar, and then there's a bunch of roles where they're allowed to be different.
Yeah, so I've got one here, like Stephen Barr. He's the voice of Rex. Like, he's not got many roles. I think we talked about that previously, didn't we? Of like a lot of the voice actors from Mass Effect haven't been in many roles, which is a shame because they're all really good.
Yeah, like I did notice. I noticed a couple of credits for Miranda, but as a actor, not as a voice actor.
As a voice actress, yeah. But
he's like the thing I most recognized her in, like in a season or two of Dexter.
Yeah, and Stephen Barr is like random voice. He's like a Tonberry in a Final Fantasy game. Ooh.
But like, yeah, that's the thing is, like, for example, I recognize Troy Baker in a lot of things, but until I saw the credits, I would never guess for 1 second that Troy Baker was in the latest season, Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
just didn't notice at all. It's like, I get, like, he's clearly doing a bit of a blend of himself and Harrison Ford in the Indiana Jones game, and I'm like, in the trailer, like, half of the time he sounded like himself and half of the time he sounded like Harrison Ford, and it really threw me off.
I don't know why. Just stop making it Harrison Ford. It's gonna be so awkward when he fucking dies.
Is he Rick and Morty? Because I wasn't sure. I just saw his name come up as like top billing on the latest season credits. I don't know. Literally all I've seen, all I know is that I like watched through that very, very fucking mediocre season, and towards the end noticed he was like the top name on the credits.
Like, welcome to Rick and Morty. It's like, man,
that show has not been interesting for like a good solid 3-4 seasons now. It's like, I think it's at the point where there's like more bad than good of the series at this point, or like boring than good. It's not necessarily ever bad, but it's like real background noise.
It just really got into its own hype of like trying to tell like, oh, look how wild and convoluted our story is. And it's like, all you're doing is making it so I don't care about the law.
Of like multiple of the newest season were like, what if this person was melded with this person? Like, did that need to be like multiple different episodes?
Yeah.
Did you
It's
really not
dope.
have an idea for like 10 different episodes of TV? Like one of them basically had to be repeated.
They'll never top.
Like there's basically no rules to what you can and can't do in that series as well.
Yeah. They'll never top just the episode where Jerry just lives in a shitty motel and the wolf steals his food. Or he steals his unemployment check and the wind just says, "Sir." They've never topped it. It's always the funniest one.
That might be like definitely one of the best gags of just like the loser. Like, the wind calling him out.
Yeah, it's the bit where like the wolf is like, "You want my unemployment check, but this is food. This will actually sustain you, unless it's my pain that sustains you."
Oh, okay. Yeah, it must be one of those things then of like, just Troy Baker got top billing because he's fucking Troy Baker and his like agent argued for it. But yeah, I was like playing some Destiny and some Elden Ring with Rick and Morty on, and was like, this is like even a little bit aggravating just being on in the background.
That's the one. Like, who do you find more, or what show do you think is just worse? Is it the new season of Futurama or the new season of Rick and Morty?
Futurama. I turned Futurama off. It was that bad.
Right, it's real bad, right? And it's all they're doing is it's like The Simpsons. It's just a joke that it just gets worse.
But
right?
like, Futurama has always been like, oh, I hate the episode where it comes back from being cancelled because it's always just 20 minutes of jokes about being cancelled and brought back. But then it generally picks back up a little bit and finishes pretty strong each time. But this season, yeah, every episode I watched was like actually hurting me, and I was like,
almost just.
It was retroactively making me hate Futurama, so I stopped.
Yeah. It's like The Simpsons. Of like some of those like newer episodes are rough, but it's like it's the fucking Simpsons. It's been around for like 30 years.
And again,
Futurama at least
you
always
can leave it on in the background without getting annoyed at it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe that when that season first came out, we got people telling us, like, hey, go watch the new Futurama when we released the video about it. Like, the new season's real good. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll wait for it to all come out and drop, and then I'll watch it. And eventually I got round to it, like the last couple of weeks, and was like, holy shit, what the fuck?
How much of that is just people like the fact that it's self-referential because they get the joke?
They get like, oh look, that was a joke about them being cancelled. Oh my god, I got that. Like, isn't that so clever that they wrote a joke and like it's alluding to the fact that they're back?
Also, holy shit, I didn't even realise this. Have you talked to like Stephen Hackett yet?
No, not much, no.
That's Lance Henriksen. That's like he's in the Terminator. Yeah, because I'm looking at like someone like the celebrity voice actors they got in, for like random people because it was big. So maybe you don't know Lance Henriksen. You know his face, but do you want to know some other random like celebrity cameos you got in this game?
I'm just having a look at who Lance Henriksen is. Oh shit! Yeah. Okay.
You know that guy, right?
Yes. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Have you talked to a character Stargazer yet?
I don't think so.
Well, when you do, look out for them because that's Buzz Aldrin.
Oh, what?
As in Buzz Aldrin, who was on the moon.
Well, of course, faked being on the moon.
Oh yeah. So the moon's not real, right?
It's just the moon itself.
Carrie Ann Moss plays one of the random Asari you talk to.
Oh wow!
So just Trinity's in it. That's what I thought. Like, is there any random people they got in? Yeah, they've got a few just random celebrities came in and did like one role.
That's cool. Yeah. It was fucking. Like, I cannot believe how bad. Not just how bad that Futurama was, like how bad it got. Yeah. But also just the fact that people recommending we watch it when it came out.
Yeah, that's real bad, right? Oh, Lucas, the boy, Councillor Sparatus, it's Alistair Duncan, it's Senator Armstrong.
Fucking hell.
He's randomly in. We got him. Oh, Raiden's in. He plays Kolyak Krios.
Well, let's take our 2 potential bays, shall we?
Let's do it.
Like, yeah, we'll romance James, fuck it, but like, Garrus was our other potential.
He was. He's also cool. I love looking at like random games. Like, wait, they got Buzz Aldrin to voice a character. It's like we must have got him in for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's rad
Let's do
though.
one line. I've never heard anyone talk about the fact Buzz Aldrin's in this game.
No.
Awesome. Let's have a look at Mass Effect 2, actually. Let's see, have a look. I'm curious now. Is there any other like random people that were in like the Mass Effect series that we've missed? 'Cause I've never really seen it that much as like a celebrity drawn series, right? Like you had like Seth Green did a cameo and he did like probably more than
there's Seth Green, there's Freddie Prinze Jr., there's Jessica Chobot.
They're not like big stars though, right?
Massive star. No, to be fair, like Seth Green was pretty. To be fair, Seth Green and Freddie Prinze Jr. were probably like when Mass Effect 1 came out. Seth Green was a big pull.
There was that like bunch of like just random stoner comedies Seth Green was in, right?
Yeah, like a lot of like the obviously moving on from American Pie type humor that like Seth Green was all over, and then Robot Chicken as well. Like Seth Green, when Mass Effect 1 came out, was probably a huge pull.
It might have been, yeah.
I think Freddie Prinze had probably like dropped off a little bit by the time ME3 came out.
But still, it's interesting to get him in and to play.
Yeah,
that.
still like a big person to play one of the main characters.
And they probably got him in because they said you get to play against Type.
Well, apparently he was a fan.
No, that works as well. Yeah, I'm looking like Lance Henriksen was in it from the first game, but other people we had is like Mariana Sirtis. That's like Commander Troy from Star Trek. For any Star Trek fans out there.
Oh, I'm not.
That makes sense,
I'm
right?
not a Trekkie. I just have never really tried with Star Trek.
But it makes sense, right? If we're going to get someone in to do this like space series, let's try and get someone from Star Trek.
Exactly. Yeah. Just it's one of those of like Star Trek's just a big blind spot for me that I've never really liked the TV shows with how much they like.
Edie, any more information on the situation?
They are just a slow burn, right? Like,
yeah. Good episodic television. Like TNG is really good episodic television.
That's the thing. I should probably like just sit down and watch The Next Generation because it's so overwhelming. Of like, well, what Star Trek do I even start watching? It's like I should probably just not think about watching all of Star Trek. Just go and watch Next Generation.
Like TNG is the best one to watch because after you've learned like, there's a couple of like episodes that are big story stuff, but it's 25 episodes a season and it's normally just fun problem of the week.
Are involved, the situation changes.
It doesn't make sense. We let that
I think we already talked about Mass Effect 2, right? It's Shohrei Aghdashloo. Who's in it? Like she said, she's like from Destiny, right?
Yeah, she was a cool character in Destiny for a while.
Yeah, the Witch Queen. There we go. She's Lakshmi 2. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, who was like one of the faction leaders. And just one of those things of like, talk about a fucking memorable and noticeable voice.
Grunt?
Yeah, because she's like the lady. She has like the really cool, soft-spoken old lady. Oh, it's Grunt!
Fucking Grunt's back.
What are you doing here?
I could ask
Which
you
one
the
has
same
war?
question. Didn't those idiots lock you up?
Relieved.
He's not in any of the games so far. I can see Michael.
No, War, like the stuff.
No, that's TNG.
They got bigger
TNG,
problems, all right.
He's also in Voyager.
That's why I'm out here running Arlac Company. They're tough. Think they're invincible.
How many
Reckless, but
characters in Star Trek are like on multiple like different shows?
A couple of them. It's like you get people from the original series show up in TNG. It's like I think it's Scotty turns up and he's like 150 fucking years old.
Right, and then I presume like Leonard Nimoy's probably appeared in a few, like Captain Kirk might. Well, like
I don't think William Shatner never did, but I do think they did get Leonard Nimoy, Adam Nimoy's son, directed an episode. I think.
I know that they got Leonard Nimoy for like the movie reboot, right?
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
like as a cameo.
There's a couple of people who had cameos on the show. Yeah,
and then like what did Will Wheaton appear in more episodes of Star Trek or Big Bang Theory?
Will Wheaton was a main character in Star Trek, and he's the worst character in the show.
Oh, really?
He's just so annoying.
Because, like, obviously they introduced him quite early in Big Bang as, like, oh, that's literally Will Wheaton from Star Trek, and then he turns up, like, at least once in, like, every fucking season of the show.
And the problem in Star Trek is he plays like a little kid, and he plays that annoying trope character of the little kid who's smarter than the adults. Yeah. Skip any episode where he's the main
Always
focus.
so fucking poorly written with characters like that.
Oh, and speaking of Worf, Michael Dorn is in Mass Effect 2. He plays Gatog Yuvenk of Earth.
Characters I definitely remember who they are.
We're probably just like one of the he'll be one of the Krogans you talk to, I imagine. Dave Fennoy. He plays like Warlord Okia. Like, that guy's fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah.
He's Lee from Walking Dead. The
nice.
game. That guy's voice is awesome. He's super cool looking as well. He's just his profile photo on like IMDb. He's wearing like the biggest, most fluffy sweater. He has like the pure white dreads. He looks like such a nice man.
I collected a few scars earning my place here. These Krogan respect me.
Why would they not? You're literally the perfect Krogan.
Yeah.
But if you're Krogan or half the soldier you are, we might make it out of here.
Glad you're here to crack some heads, Shepard. Hard to believe this might be Rachni. Seems crazy.
Rachni. Oh, it's like we get to fight the Rachni again. Let's go.
Chance to face the old enemy.
I love that as well. Grunt being like, yeah, let's fucking kill some Rachni.
Well, it's basically like inbuilt in his DNA to want to kill these fucking things.
Exactly,
right?
yeah. Like, their species was bred for it. And he's like the ultimate culmination of that species. Like, he's the perfect Krogan. Which means he should, like, have the most ultimate bloodlust for Rachni.
If we're lucky, it's a nest.
Sounds like fun. Just like old times,
Oh my god.
Grunt.
You won't know the guy's name, like Bill Ratner.
Arlec Company, move
He's
out!
like in one of the Mass Effect games. But he's like the voice of like the Cobra Troopers from G.I. Joe.
Sounds good.
Like back in the 70s.
Take what you need and move out.
Oh, the Drumeo YouTube channel. I presume I've seen that Chad Smith thing of like, I've seen a video of a YouTube channel being clipped out on like onto their TikTok or whatever of like Chad Smith playing along to 30 Seconds to Mars blind. Yeah. And like, just obviously because he's got such fucking mastery of like just musical theory at this point from just 30 plus years of drumming experience, like he just immediately nails the entire fucking thing. And like so many of the different clips I've seen like are just drummers who have been around for like, I'd say 30-40 years and just like can predict almost perfectly where the song's going.
Yeah, because like, unless it's like a jazz song or something where it's deliberately not following a beat.
But yeah, that's the thing, is like even people who are following like a non-conventional beat, they'll probably immediately pick it up as like, oh well, they're going for like this little, spin on a beat.
Yep.
And they've just heard it all and done it all, and they're just like immediately you see them in their head listen and go like, cool, like, oh, clearly they're playing like, a 4/4, an 8/4, or 3/4 or whatever. Like, got it. What's like the bass? And you see them work on just like something basic for a couple of like, bars. And it's like, oh, this is the vibe of how heavy they're going, cool. And just yeah, it's like, it's incredible to see people's brains work when they have that much fucking just, I'd say just knowledge, experience, fucking instinct. Yeah, Chad Smith is a fucking incredible drummer. And like, obviously,
the entire band is, right? Like the Foo Fighters is basically a super group.
Chad Smith is Chili Peppers.
Was he Chili Peppers one?
Yeah. Unfortunately, the Foo Fighters drummer passed away. But like, yeah, it's like just, I mean, Foo Fighters are also very talented, but like, yeah, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, like John Frusciante is like a fucking genius guitarist. Chad Smith is a drummer. They don't necessarily like show it off in terms of he's not a drummer sitting there doing like the fastest fills with like double pedals everywhere and like, all this shit. But like, yeah, he could easily just fit into any band and play alongside. It's just not that's not the style of Chili Peppers. Like, just because they don't utilize that skill or like show it off in their music doesn't mean they can't do it.
Yeah, I do like that like piss take like I think it's like the music version of the hard drive and stuff. It says like, oh, Anthony Kiedis appears at mention of California. Just floats out. California was mentioned.
Just California and or drugs gets mentioned, and Anthony Kiedis is there.
So I love drugs. I love drugs so much.
To be fair, that's like old Anthony Kiedis. Like
he did so many drugs, his nose fell off.
Yeah, they talk a lot, obviously nowadays, about how like we were fucking like we don't do it anymore, but we were on all of the drugs. We got past that.
Not surprised Grant's found his way.
And that's like
little guy's all grown up.
Just
Glad he's here.
a lot of just musicians that were around in like the 80s and the 90s are like, oh yeah, you wouldn't fucking believe the amount of drugs we were all doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the Chad Smith Will Ferrell drum off was like legendary, not just because like haha funny joke they both look really similar. Also the fact that Will Ferrell was a pretty good drummer.
Yeah, he actually kept up a little bit.
Yeah, like he's obviously nowhere near their level, but like the fact that he was actually able to a layman pull off like an impressive drum battle with fucking Chad Smith, I was like, oh, he's going a lot harder than I thought he would.
I do like that story though of like, because Chad Smith always was offended by it. It's like, oh yeah, Will Smith, that stupid comedian dude, that dumb guy who was in like fucking like Step Brothers and stuff. And he said at one time there was like an event where Will Smith was, not Will Smith,
Will
he
Ferrell.
looked like Will Smith. Will Ferrell was there, and he looked over and he kept staring at him like, he does look like me. And Will Ferrell walked over to him, looked him dead in the eye, and said, "You're a very handsome man," and laughed.
Okay. Keep in radio contact.
On our way.
And that's the it must be really fucking annoying. Like if you've never met the guy, and all you know about him is people just keep going, "Hey, you look like that Will Ferrell dude,"
and then you see him in movies and he looks like a fucking idiot.
Yeah, and you're like, then you see him in real life and you're like, "Oh fuck, he does."
Got something.
I see it. Grunt, got a body of a
Oh
scout.
man, I love the fact that the webbing, like out of all of the health bars you could have given webbing, it was armor.
Yeah.
Like it has the least amount of armor ever.
Well, you could be like, silk is really strong, like spider silk. It's like alien spiders, must be pretty good, right?
But the fact it dies instantly on like the armor health bar.
Agreed. Everybody be ready.
Movement. Anybody catch that?
Don't worry, I got you covered. What are those?
I don't know.
Oh, little spore pods.
Burn them all.
They explode? Really?
I mean, James, have you ever played a video game? Of course, the spores explode. That's like, does Mass Effect ever have lore about like Mass Effect having video games in it?
There must be, like, they have like that Commander Shepard AI that they say can like play games with you or whatever, right? You have it as a.
Oh yes, I think that might be right. Yeah.
They talk about how they put like your AI into a video game and you can play as you.
Yeah, because I was like, I couldn't remember whether there was any mention of video games in this universe or not. I think you're right. It's like not specifically called like video gaming, but they're like, hey, we've got like a VI that you can put inside the game.
Oh man, why is it that every game's flamethrower fucking sucks compared to the flamethrower in Dead Space?
Oh god, why is it I've got a controller batteries are low?
Has there ever been a flamethrower that works as good as the one in Dead Space where you can like fucking pinpoint aim it and fire around corners?
I mean, true, yeah.
Right, no.
the Ragni husks.
Light him up, Shepard.
I don't see Grunt come in and like fucking elbow drop it.
You know the drill. Stay behind cover.
And this must be the that we talked about in the episode on Mass Effect of like, oh, there's a time where you can get like an optional Rex as like a temporary squad mate. I presume if like you've had Rex alive, that either both him and Grunt are here or just Rex is.
I think Rex is there for the mission on Tuchanka for the Genophage, right? 'Cause his brother turns up. And Grunt turns up
yes, no, you're right, because like Erdnot Reeve turned up instead, didn't they?
And this one's Grunt, just like Grunt's a fucking legend.
Yeah.
It's sad that he's like the only character in our party who's like just thermo dead.
Yeah, well, never forget our favourite mercenary.
Oh, Zaid, yeah. They're gonna say Ashley then. So don't you dare mention Ashley. She didn't die. She was sacrificed.
Yeah, she was killed by us.
Nothing here yet.
I'd have shot her myself if I had the chance. Like, I think there should have been the option to shoot to yourself. I think I remember talking about in Mass Effect 1, you should have the option to be angry and shoot her or like court-martial her and she's out your party. And that way, when you have the final thing, you have to kill Kaidan.
I mean, that would be an interesting way to do it. It would be interesting if you could pull off Vermeer 0 casualties, but it was very difficult. And then, like, most of the time, you had to pick the sacrifice. But if you just, like, insta-kill Ashley, then you had the chance to save Kaidan, but it was very difficult.
Yeah. But I think just the option of, like, you could fire her or court-martial or kick her off your mission.
I think you should have had the option to just shoot her back. Because, like, in our playthrough, we very specifically, none of that shit, I will deal with this, and then she just shot him anyway.
Yeah.
And, like, I would understand if you didn't get the option to shoot her. Like, if you'd been like, yeah, keep an eye on Rex, he might go a bit mental, because that's one chance of, like, that's one option you can have, is like, yeah, keep an eye on Rex while I go and try and talk to him. But we said, fuck off, Ashley, we can trust him.
Imagine, like, if you got the option to, like, just hit elbow drop her.
I totally think if it had been Mass Effect 2, and they had the Paragon and Renegade option, that they probably would have given you a Renegade option to shoot her back.
Yeah, to shoot off, or like I said, just kick her off your team. And you lose a permanent. But I'm just going to pop and get myself like a drink of water back in a sec.
Yeah, I might just take a quick break as well, so I'm just going to leave everyone on our break screen for a couple of moments.
Kevin, we're all right.
Good. Didn't want to dig
Ashley did.
Oh, that hurts my feelings.
Ashley and Javit just like... I was about to say they'd get on great, but then Ashley would be like, ooh, alien, don't like it. Go top. Go get another drink. Great Ed. Sorry about that, everyone. We are back. Oh. Burning. We are like very literally. I am burning.
Yes, you are.
I am burned, and I am burning things down. Like I'm getting out my aggression of like everything else should burn around me that I've got to put left or not.
So you can hear me, yeah?
Yeah.
Anyways, I accidentally pressed like the microphones. I didn't press the wrong button, did I?
Or they burn them all down. Me just getting my aggression out, like everything else must burn if I am burned.
Yeah, probably bloody warm. But if I'm hear anything, I'm just having some stuff there.
Superb.
Don't sell some bananas and cereal.
They died making sure we could make it to the central chamber.
Get burned by Mesmer. That thing is like, I know enough where I'm like, I know that name is Elden Ring, but I don't know enough to like know what that character is.
All I saw is, everyone's like, the game is real difficult. Really cool.
Yeah, and like apparently, I know you mentioned it earlier, Red Hot, to discuss about it. Like, it's kind of, it's not getting like review bombed because like it's legitimate discrepancies with the game. It's like it's got mixed reviews now on Steam, but apparently,
Looks like a
like
last message.
if you filter for like non-Chinese responses, it's like 80% positive or something. And a lot of that is because apparently in China they don't have like the forums on Steam. So they basically use a lot of like reviews as real-time commentary on what they're experiencing in the game.
They're just like, which sucks, I'm getting my house kicked by it.
So they're like currently in that phase of, man, this sucks, I'm dying so much, and then presumably over time that will get better.
Yeah. Every DLC for a Souls game does the exact same fucking thing. If you walk in, huge, massive open world, first enemy you encounter instantly kills you. There's an infamous one in Dark Souls 3.
Right.
Where you walk, like, Joe, you've played a couple of Souls games. Joe, the classic, you walk into a castle, huge vista, and while you're taking it in, there's a bridge, and you walk on it, taking it all in, walking real slow, because you know, you want to be a badass.
Of course.
A ghost appears. Oh, okay. Then another ghost. And then about 40,000 ghosts appear, and they all shoot arrows at the same time and insta-kill you. And you know what? The first time it happens, it's fucking hilarious.
That's the thing, right? Is like, after that, it must be fucking infuriating, but like...
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, the first time it happens, everyone who plays that game either laughs or is like, fuck's sake, they got me again. But then, every time you play it afterwards, it's just annoying. It's like when you were doing the Millennia, that... Why do I have to run 30 seconds back to the boss?
Yeah. Like, it's one of those things of... I do think that a lot of people are probably pissed because they're like, well, my character's like a max level character, why the fuck am I doing so badly? And it's like, because the game's got a separate leveling system like the DLC does.
The DLCs always do, so no matter what level you play at, it's always like, you know, the level of challenge they want.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I think a lot of people are probably pissed off because they expected to be like me at like level 250, just ballsing around and like killing everything in 2 hits, and then they got in and were like, wait, why the fuck am I dying to everything again?
It's so funny that people don't have fun unless they win that easily. And yeah, it's great, but there's that like quote from, I think Miyazaki said, like, we don't want to make easier games. It's like, your games aren't difficult, they're just obtuse.
A lot of it is that, yeah. Like, they are difficult because of that. But, like, you know, as you pointed out before, like, a lot of what Souls do is, like, cheap, dirty tricks to be difficult, rather than, like, in comparison to, like, something like a character action game. Like, some of those harder ones where it is, like, oh no, this is straight up just, like, balls to the wall hard, whereas a lot of Souls stuff can be just like, oh, you're making things purposely difficult, or just like something completely unfair will happen, like those ghosts that you were talking about.
I'll tell you what, right? Easy way to sum it up is, I've seen people beat Elden Ring and Dark Souls games in like on bongos. I've seen hundreds of those runs. I've only seen like one person complete Devil May Cry 5 with like a bad controller.
I've never seen anyone beat like that Ninja Gaiden 2 awful like hardness mode.
Yeah.
With any bullshit like dance pad or anything.
I've seen people beat it, but I've not seen them beat it with like, you know, a stupid controller.
I've not seen someone beat Devil May Cry with what, like an electrical flute.
I think there was a guy who beat Devil May Cry 3 with a Guitar Hero controller.
Fair.
It's cool. And it's like, I see people do it, but the level of mechanical fidelity required is so much higher. Like, if you actually know where every enemy is in an Elden Ring game or a Souls game, you don't need to do it. You just walk. You can run past
like,
every
look at say for example, like Let Me Solo of like learns Millennia well enough that in general they can be on their own on co-op difficulty with like a pot lid helmet or whatever it is, and that's it. And like that means, like, technically, yes, that means that they're very good at the game and have memorized that fight very well. but it also means that, like, well, it can't be that difficult if someone can basically beat her level 1 naked if they just know her pattern well.
I think the one is, as soon as it was pointed out to me, I could never unsee it off. Every boss and every enemy in Elden Ring, you just walk around in a circle.
Yeah, yeah.
Walk around
Generally
in a circle.
strafe and dodge. Like, that is enough to beat most Dark Souls or FromSoft bosses.
Not even the dodge. Like, if you watch, like, speedruns and stuff, they just walk past.
Like, I think Sekiro is probably a good example. Like, Sekiro, at least from what I've seen, seems like a way harder game.
Sekiro is actually difficult, yeah, 'cause it does require timing. Like, the parry system is actually really, really unforgiving, but it's very accurate.
Yeah. I do like the idea. But I know that they put it in for, like, legal reasons. The idea of, man, we try to make smoking look so cool in our video game, but we're not allowed to admit that we think smoking is cool.
It's such a weird Japanese thing, because, like, Hideo Kojima's the funniest example of it, where he doesn't smoke, but when he takes photos of people who do, he pretends to smoke. He's obsessed with the idea of it looking cool.
Come on.
I mean, like, how many times has he made different shots of, oh man, how fucking cool looking is a snake of some kind with a cigarette?
You couldn't play Metal Gear Solid 4 without watching Snake smoke an entire packet of cigarettes.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, the loading screen was Snake smoking an entire packet of cigarettes for 2 hours.
And obviously, like, that's split up over the different loading screens, but man, those MGS4 loading screens were rough.
We ran into it too.
And there's, like, that time where, like, you beat, like, part 1 of the game, and then it sits there and installs part 2 or something. Can't remember, I've only done a full playthrough of 4 one time, like, a couple of years after release, but, like, there was a moment where me and my mate had to just be like, well, I guess let's go make some lunch while it installs the next part of the game.
I think everybody had the same experience of playing that game through once, and it's like, for fuck's sake.
And it would make for, like, a fascinating remake.
Yeah. Get rid of all the bullshit.
Like, not necessarily get rid of all the bullshit, but, like, get rid of, like, the technical bullshit of, like, the have to play it on a PS3, like, the horribly long loading screens, the, like, you know, installing another part of the game partway through and all that jazz. Like, I want to see what MGS4 was like as MGS4. I don't want you to change the game. I want to experience what, like, that vision was, but without all, like, the technical hiccups of it.
Yeah. Also the cringy stuff with, like, the beauties. That'd be nice.
Heads up, more eggs.
I mean, I would love that to happen as well, but I would also love to see, like, what game Kojima had a, like, actual vision for, and, like, keeping the smoking monkey and the, like, naked women and all this shit, because it's like, no, like, don't sidestep around it. This is what everyone, like, says the greatest, like, video game auteur of all time made. Like, that was their vision.
Yeah, I do wonder if that ever comes up. Do you know he's doing all these, like, celebrity things?
Yeah,
like, he just goes around and hangs out with celebrities. Like, do they ever, like, talk to him about these games? Like, so what is it you're famous for? It's like Metal Gear Solid 4. Because, like, you know, I've heard you put action in your games. Yeah, I put some models in that I had a crush on, and directed them in the voice booth to make them sound like they were getting sexually assaulted.
And then also scan them to within, like, an inch of their naked body's life so that they could, like, all be in these weird 3D model viewers, and you could basically put the camera inside all of them.
Yeah, if you got a camera out, if you go play Metal Gear Solid 4 and you pull your camera out while you're fighting the beauties, they will do model poses for you.
Well, remember, you can also put them in those model poses in the model viewer.
Oh yeah, of course.
And, like, put the camera wherever the fuck you want while they're doing all these weird sexy poses.
So hey, I heard you work with Stephanie Houston, like, she's a really great singer, right? Yeah, I made her play a character who doesn't talk and has to writhe around naked on the floor the entire time your character's looking at her.
Wait, which one's this?
Quiet.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
Stephanie Houston's, like, a phenomenal, like, singer and voice actress, and she has, like, one line of dialogue in the entire thing.
Oh, really? Is it that bad? Oh, yeah. Of course she's called Quiet.
But it's like, do you know, like we said it before, like, what did they mean by this? It's like, we took a woman who, she's entirely subservient to you, the main character. Like, he's basically his OC self-insert, and she never talks. So what did you mean by that?
And it's like, don't get me wrong, I like a lot of weird stuff that Kojima does. Like, I really enjoyed a lot of, like, the weirdness of Death Stranding and a lot of the stuff that I like. They're seemingly double down in, like, for, like, doubling down on for Death Stranding 2. Like, oh, fuck it, there's a weird, like, puppet man just sitting on someone's shoulder and all this jazz, but, like, when it's all the weird shit around, like, how cool is it that all of our women are, like, overly sexualized and naked all the time and shit?
I'm surprised the boss made it into Metal Gear Solid 3.
What, because she's an actually interesting independent woman?
Yeah, it's baffling that the boss is in that series.
The same series that has the boss has, like, Quiet and the Beast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Made by the same people, mostly. And don't forget Eva exists and, like, all the weird shit with,
Oh, yeah. Where, like, you have voice acting of Volgin because he's a sadist, like, assaulting her.
Yeah, and then you've also got all the weird stuff with, like, the woman in number 1 as well, right?
Yeah, Meryl, there's a bunch of weird stuff you do with Meryl.
Meryl, yes, yeah.
You can watch her getting changed. There's a bonus if you run through the game quick enough. You can basically, like, as you're crawling through the vents, you see her in a room exercising. If you do it quick enough, she's not got a chance to get changed, so she does it in her underwear.
And it's just, again, that's part of it is like, oh, isn't that just a silly little Easter egg? But part of it is like, but why was that the Easter egg you wanted to put in?
Also, as well, like, whenever you see like, oh, a video game for, like, teenagers, but the people writing them are, like, in their 30s, 40s, and now 50s.
Same with, like, how people defend Quiet always being naked. Of like, oh no, but it makes sense because she's, like, got to, like, basically photosynthesize.
But she was written to be that way.
Yeah, but someone chose to write her to be naked all the time because of a reason. And same with, like, oh, but the end had the same ability, but was in camo, full camo, all of the time.
We don't know how much he had his dick out, though.
We don't. But, like, the end had to photosynthesize, and, like, basically had just his face out, and that was it.
I should have realised. Like, if he whipped his dick out, he would run faster.
The last queen. We listen for the children. They are silent. Although...
And this is pretty fucked, right? Of like, oh, the Reapers basically got their hands on the Rachni. And now the Rachni Queen's like, look, we said we'd piss off and leave you alone. And then next thing we know, these machines have come in and just indoctrinated all my babies.
The note of the machines is everywhere.
I let you go back on Novaria. You promised not to interfere anymore. The Rachni were supposed to disappear.
We remember. We kept our promise. Retreated back through the relay. We started a new home.
And that's where you understand, like, oh shit, like, the Rachni are just having it real rough now.
The Rachni get it so bad.
The machines came. They heard our song. Their shriek of our notes.
And that's the thing, is, like, the Rachni basically communicate via this, like, weird, like, almost hive mind, but through, like, singing almost.
Music,
and
yeah.
they're like, oh yeah, so they figured that out and have started using that song against us to, like, take control of all our Rachni. I don't know how far we're allowed to get into this conversation. And I really, you know, I'm presuming that the Renegade option is to, like, kill off the Rachni here. I don't know. And I don't know how far into the conversation we go before, like, if I am continuing to be Renegade, that happens, and I'm gonna find out.
Yeah. Renegade it up.
I mean, we're gonna have to. We are Renegade right now. So I'm gonna say you're a puppet.
The Reapers enslaved you, used your children for war.
The machines cannot control us, but they caged us.
It's fucking rough, right?
We had to obey.
It's really rough. Like, again, just I get that, like, they were dickheads in the past, but they did stick to their agreement.
I gave your kind a second chance back on Noveria. But here I am in some cave, dealing with you again.
We can still be whole.
Yeah, but you've got to maybe understand, Shepard, that maybe this is the Reapers doing.
Yeah.
Like, you can see the Reaper technology on their fucking eggs and shit.
Yeah, but that's why Renegade makes no sense.
We're getting movement here. A lot of movement.
Copy that, Grud. Give me one good reason I shouldn't just walk away.
The machines made us slaves. We will fight.
It's like, yeah, I want the Rachni on my fucking side.
She's a mess. She needs too much time to escape.
Look at fucking James.
We're out of time. We stay here, our company dies. Is that clear?
I mean,
it's rough because otherwise
I don't know if people in chat do or don't have the points right now, so I'm going to put a poll out just for this one moment.
It's like, otherwise you lose Grunt. Rough fucking choice.
Wait, what?
Well, he says, like, if you leave it, like, his entire company dies, look.
Yeah, his company might die, but Grunt might not die.
You should be alright. That's the choice you're making.
I'm just doing a simple, like, 2-minute vote. Save the Rachni, yes or no. And last thing is, like, maybe... You know, no spoilers in chat. Maybe we might not lose... Maybe we might not lose a party. Be all that company. That's the thing, I know not necessarily everyone has the points to, like, put us to Paragon and then back to Renegade because we limit the amount of votes people have. I'm just going to make sure, like, for this one time right now, we have the vote. Right, we do say that there are certain moments where we decide to overrule what is the current ongoing run. Again, the whole point of the point system is to, like, try and go along with what chat want without necessarily having to poll every single time.
Yeah, but this is like a big old decision, right?
Because, like, if every single conversation we're having to do a poll of, like, what the chat want to do, this would go on for even longer. Well, remember that you only get a limited amount of your points per stream anyway. At least for the Paragon Renegade points. Because we stopped it so that people couldn't use their, like, unlimited amount of points to be unfair. Yeah. We had to put limiters on people, like weighted clothing for chat. I think that's fair. I think we're done. Peace. Just saying, yeah, we help her escape.
Listen up.
Hit that Paragon box for now. And that's the thing is, right now, Mass Effect 3, because it genuinely is, like, quite compelling, it's, like, one of those things that we are really getting close to being, like, middle-of-the-road Shepard again.
Yep.
But it's because the game does have a lot of compelling different choices. I kind of get the rhetoric of, we've had to deal with you twice over 3 games now.
Now get us out of here.
But at the same time, we can clearly see that they've been indoctrinated with Reaper tech.
Yeah. It's not really a decision, is it? It's just like, do you want to help his team or not?
Mm-hmm. Like, look at them. They've got, like, all this weird shit flowing through their body.
Nah, fuck them, it's their own fault.
All that fucking Reaper tech on them. And people sit there like, no, but the Rachni are the bad guys because, like, they promise to be good and then they're not good in the end. Like, no, they're not good because the fucking Reapers took over. That's like saying all of the humans that get turned into husks are not good people. Why do, like, Krogans look so much better than everything else in these games?
They're so detailed.
They're so good looking compared to every other character model. No, Grunt, no.
You made your choice.
They actually go out in a blaze of glory.
The thing is, though, if you're giving him a shotgun from Mass Effect 1, he wouldn't have died. You'd have infinite ammo.
The thing is, though, even if he does die right now, you kind of can't be mad, because this is exactly how Grunt would want to go.
It's what he wants, right? He
Yeah.
wants to go out fighting, like, the most beefed up version of his, like, his race's most feared
This is
enemy.
his, like, most fucking endgame moment.
I think if you listen really carefully, you can still hear him shooting.
Fuck.
Cortez, we're the last ones out.
Copy that, Commander.
Shit.
Shuttle is waiting.
I'm kind of expecting it to, like, burst out of a wall.
Riding on, like, a Rachni.
Oh, he is! The boy!
Fucking made it!
Like, this is Grunt. Just proving himself.
Got something to eat.
Best bit as well, you know that's not his blood.
Yeah. He's choking on pieces of Rachni.
The thing is, though, I can't picture James doing that.
To be fair, I can't even imagine any other any other Krogan doing that. That's a perfect Krogan right there, proving his point.
We got burned last time. No, we didn't.
Like, as much as, you know, I don't necessarily, you know, I don't really like the idea of fucking eugenics, but Grunt did kind of, like, prove eugenics in this game. If we went with, like, Mass Effect lore, maybe eugenics aren't the worst thing of just making the perfect person.
Like, he is super strong. Now go check your alliance like shit because you get the Rachni. I love the descriptions like the Rachni is gonna help you.
I can't wait for it to be like 1,000 war assets and it's just Grunt.
Aliens, have a look.
Like fucking Krogan.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, 25.
Erdnot Reeve is not as good as Grunt.
He should be worth like 5 more, right?
He should have been worth a little bit more than every other Krogan, yeah.
The perfect Krogan. Maybe it's because he's not as experienced. That's
Fuck
the
that.
argument, right?
Fuck that. No other Krogan is pulling off what he just did.
Rex might have done it. Yeah, Rachni.
The Rachni worker. Not all mindless insects, the Rachni are capable of feats of engineering comparable with any other sentient species. While initially greeted with suspicion, Rachni workers dispatched to the Crucible have integrated into the project smoothly. They work especially well on tasks that benefit from group work, and senior Crucible staff members are learning to trust the Rachni with more complex problems.
Like, imagine that. Of just like, okay, I've got you some reinforcements, and 4 billion Rachni turn up.
It's like,
imagine, like,
oh
Lucas,
shit, they're
like,
gonna eat us. What the fuck is going on? And then they're all like, oh hey, have you got any like group work for us all to figure out? We've done some like simple engineering in the past.
But imagine that, like, Lucas, I was like, I'm going to send someone to help you clean up your house, and just 4,000 bees turn up. A swarm of bees comes into your house and starts cleaning up. Oh, yeah, you got, like, the fucking Spec Ops Turians look.
Turian Blackwood. I like that. A team of exceptionally skilled special ops soldiers and all this, and it's like, oh, the 43rd Marine Division is worth more. But presumably they just have the fucking numbers.
Yeah.
Because it's an entire Marine Division.
Yeah, they missed the opportunity here to put some, like, inside gags in. Like, put Marcus Phoenix in there. Right?
Although, you know, it does say here, there were rumours that Saren was part of Blackwatch before becoming a Spectre. Although, given his youth when he joined the Turian army, it seems unlikely.
Well, that's a nice bit of flavour text. These guys are so fucking badass that, like, Saren was supposed to be one of them.
I do like the like actual lore there of just, yeah. Despite what you see in the video games of like rat and eyes just coming to claw your asshole, they are actually like decent at engineering and have gone and done some science work with them all.
I also love this as well. If you go look, who's putting the most? Like the humans, 700, Krogan, 700. Nobody else is fucking pulling their weight.
Yeah, right. Like, we've got the Alliance coming up. The
Like, look at the
Krogans are
Solarian,
just like
that's
fucking
35.
there. And then the Solarians, the ones who had the goal to be like, huh, good luck without us, they're currently pulling a 35.
Like, Grunt is worth more than the Solarians.
Like, Solarian council member or whatever was like, oh, well, good luck, we're not going to support you unless you help, like, the Solarians out more. Well, the current ones we've got aren't pulling that much weight, to be honest.
I can't wait to see, like, the Solarians defend their homeworld. When like 8 billion like aliens turn
You know
up to
what we'll
defend
do
Earth.
is
So
we'll
where should we
send
go
in
next?
all
Like Solarian homeworld. No, they said they've got this.
No, we'll send in all of the Krogan and the Rat Knights to help.
It is fucking brutal though. If you proper mess up like the Tuchanka storyline, it ends up with like in that final cutscene you just see like Tuchanka's burnt to the ground, the Rachni are on it. And it's just the Krogan's just died out and it's just Rachni now. And it's like, God, that's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
And their entire race just dies, and the thing that they were like elevated to fight takes over their homeworld.
Well, speaking of games,
a few. Most are too flashy though. I prefer chess.
Like,
I have a set made from rose quartz and hematite back home. I like the feel of something solid in my hands.
but just when trainers like,
Play a
oh
game,
yeah,
I need something a bit more exciting.
we've got so many games that are built on like the basis of the galactic map over there.
But it also results in fewer broken bones.
So yeah, it's like the question I asked literally earlier today of just, do they ever refer to like gaming?
Yeah, chess
Yep.
exists.
Yep, they literally are talking about how like, oh yeah, well, I prefer to like play video games because my arms don't get broken when I try doing like cool shit in that. Like when I try and pull off a triple backflip shotgun kill in real life, I have to put up with the pain.
Only Grunt can do that.
How scary would it be if like you could also see Krogans being like super agile?
Well, he's pretty fast. Like they can
they're good at like charging in a straight line, but I mean like if they were just appeared out of nowhere back flipping around.
Yeah, I want to see like the Krogan assassins.
True, we can romance trainer yet. We had the option to romance like Kelly, is it in Mass Effect 2 as well?
Yeah.
And again, like, I don't care what people get fucking mad about it. Wow. Not Reeve, not impressed.
Again,
Not sure what possessed you to make a deal with those monsters, but I assure you, the lives of all the Krogan who died to save that abomination are on you.
This is the shame, because if Rex was here, because he was there when you made the decision initially, you can talk him round, can't you? Because I think one of the things when you talk to Rex about freeing the Rachni Queen the first time is like, we were like elevated to fight those monsters. I think you can convince him by saying they're just as much a victim as you.
I like how Reeve's still in our little core though. Still got him in on the galactic war map of having some assets towards it. So he's not that mad.
He's just like, he's probably like, after the fact everything kicks off, he'll probably like, why did you do this?
So sad that like all the casual looks suck. I like just the comfy Shep, but when it's like, oh, put her in a like formal dress or put her in like shitty looking armor or farmer gear. Like, do you want to just look like a generic fucking desk man at the Alliance? Would you like to dress as Jobber number?
Yeah. Why would you even ask me this? I want to be Jobber number 3.
The fish have been feeded. Oh, but I think that's a good place to leave it there because
it's toasty.
Rather toasty for me.
It's annoying as well because it's so toasty, but you know it's not going to get any cooler.
God. So yeah, Sunburn Cam is gonna just be live until my skin calms down. Hopefully in the next couple of days, but
yeah, just 2025. Yeah,
be like bathing in after sun right now. Oh god. Grim. But yeah. Thank you all for sticking around, and I hope everyone has a lovely day.
Yeah, cheers everyone.